Yeah. When I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean, they gon' hate on me. Yeah. Gon' hate on me. When I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean, they gon' hate on me. Yeah. Gon' hate on me. Yeah. Pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean, they gon' hate on me. Yeah. Gon' hate on me.
Yes.
Wait. Was that Drew Smith in the intro video?
Of course.
Get that man out my intro video, man. I can't believe I'm just now noticing that.
Kyle Lowry in it too as well, by the way.
Oh my God.
We'll update it at some point, man. I know, man.
That just pissed me off. Let's start the show.
Mute Deem and run it back. I agree with him, but mute him and run it back.
Okay. I'm about
to. No, for real. Are we keeping this?
Oh yeah. Keep going, bro.
Oh, we're keeping this. Oh, okay, cool. Well, with that being said, a bleep monitor early.
You want to just start new at this point?
No,
man. We keeping it raw.
No.
Okay.
Glad to have you back around. This is the Biscayne Breakdown. I'm Kay. Apparently, that's Deem in your bottom right-hand corner facing the screen. You got Alex to his left, and above it all beside me, of course, is El Capitan Joel. We intended to be a little more professional as we came in here for our regular season ending episode of the Biscayne Breakdown. We know we haven't seen you in quite a while. We ask for your forgiveness. Apologies. We ask for your forgiveness for our absence, but we are here, just like the play-in and the playoffs are here. So just as well as this is our end of the season episode, it is also the Biscayne Breakdown's official play-in preview, and what a way to start it. I mean, if we're going out with the old and in with the new, I mean, Deem just, asked why is the old still in the presence of what is to become the new. He basically just trashed Kyle Lowry and Drew Smith without trashing Kyle Lowry and Drew Smith, while at the same time trashing Joel because Joel hasn't edited the intro video. But I'm going to leave that there. I just want to give the people a little insight onto the BTS that y'all just seen. That's behind the scenes for you people that don't follow the word. You know what I'm saying? Not the Korean pop group. But how you doing out there today, people? How you doing, Alex?
I'm blessed and highly favored. The Heat what they are, and we're going to get into that.
Okay. Joe, how you doing, bro?
Hey man, I woke up this morning feeling good because the Heat really about to go on another finals run from the play-in. So it's always great to see that. It's interesting because you know what? We did talk about Kyle Lowry, but it's kind of crazy to think that the dude that is on the opposing team was featured in our intros. My bad, y'all. The Heat should probably post the updated intro with Terry very soon, but aside from that, man, let's go get this win. Let's go face New York, and let's continue this championship quest.
All right, so what's extremely hilarious about this, before I get to Deem, who obviously needs no introduction, is the fact that Joel actually controls the intros. So for Joel to speak about that in an omniscient way, as if somebody else had the authority to influence the ability. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, let's move on. How you doing today, Dean?
Oh man, I'm excited, bro. I'm excited to be back. Went on a little 30-day hiatus, but I'm excited to be back, man. I missed you guys.
I'm glad
man.
you account because me and Joe was at like 33. Too. So I'm glad you pulled us back into 30 because me and Joe had a tally up to 33. We were looking for you. We were about to post some posters, but we was like, we sure he gonna hit us when?
Yeah, man. I had a month more important than basketballs. But I'm happy to be back.
Business, brother. I understand. Whatever that is, man. Handle your business. like I said, man, it's the Biscayne Breakdown. It's the Biscayne Breakdown. What a way to start. Glad to have all y'all on here. Shout out to Kev. We wanted to have Kev. I'm sure all y'all familiar with Kev from his other appearances on the Biz Break as well as the Main Heat versus the World podcast. We wanted him on. He wanted to be on, but we couldn't get in contact with Kev. But that's on par for the course for the way the rest of the show is going, right? We're going to hop right into it, man. The Miami Heat are headed to the NBA play-in round. It's the playoffs to me. I know the NBA doesn't want to classify it as the playoffs. They go so far as to give it its own statistical section. It's not the regular season statistically, and it's not the postseason statistically. It is literally the play-in statistically, and that's a very unique circumstance. It bugs the hell out of me, but hey, it is what it is. It's the offs, man. It's been the offs for the last few games for the Miami Heat. If you really want to be honest about it, when it comes to playoff positioning, and not that they're matchup hunting like the Bucks, who ended up going to trick it off anyway because they got flaws, but that's neither here nor there. They were just trying to do all they could to give themselves the best chance to go on another run because we know that they got the goods. It's just about whether they put it together at the right time because it's essentially the same team. And if you want to talk about the differences, they're all upgrades if you look at them individually. That can't be argued. We're not going to debate that. That's just for conversation. To tie a bow around the season, though, the regular season, as we mentioned, this is the closing episode of Biscayne Breakdown for the regular season, as well as the intro to the play-in. I got to get grades. So I tell you what I'm going to ask for is an overall team grade. I'm going to tell you the grade Spo, and then I'm going to tell you to give me one grade on a guy from the team and why you gave them all that grade. We're going to start with you, Alex. What you got?
All right, so overall team grade, I give him a C. We should have, when you look at the record, obviously we were better than we were last year by, I think, 2 games. But with the fact that the rest of the East and the rest of the league, for that matter, most teams took steps forward. Like us even still being 2 games better wasn't good enough. If you feel what I'm getting at. In regards to Spo, as the great Rick Ross says, La Spostra Nostra. So the parts that he was given, give Spo an A. I feel like he did everything that he could, pressed every button that he could with the guys that he was given. Like that's what he does every single year. And now, headed into the play-in on Wednesday, is when we get to see him really get into his bag and be a mad scientist. So I still give him an A for the season. And for a person on the team, I'm going to pick my boy, Nicola. My boy, Nico. I give him...
Frico Nico.
I give Nico an A as well because of the fact that last year we didn't get to see him much, but I saw a bunch of different flashes of what he could do. And then this year, he would honestly, at first, he was playing if somebody was hurt, but if everybody was healthy, he was not playing at all. Going back and forth between Sioux Falls and Miami, and then ended up breaking into the rotation, becoming a starter. And he honestly looks like a guy who could fit next to Bam at that 4 spot. Since Spo keeps forcing Bam, who is a 4, to play center. Nico looks like he brings a lot of things that complement Bam. So I give my boy Nico an A as well.
I 100% agree with you. What kind of inspired this particular topic on the day's Biz Break was the question that was asked on Twitter. So I've already done all of the grades for every guy on the team, as well as Spo overall grade. And of course, I won't do when I go get to my take, I won't give the grade on the guy that you all have picked, but just, I said that to kind of give brevity or detail to the comments. I actually gave Nico an A+ myself, and I agree everything you said, brother. To show you this development, and it's always been defense. I've been saying it for the last couple of months, especially since he's been showing his stuff on a regular basis. This is the skill set he came into the league with. And if you watch his highlight videos after they drafted him or leading up into that draft, while he was projected to go higher than that, and when he fell to the Miami Heat, you're like, oh yeah, take this dude. It's because you saw all of this, the grab and go ability, the ability to drive and finish, the ability to shoot the rock, the ability to create, the ability to do things that a guy his size shouldn't be able to do. And of course, he was doing it. I want is it the Adriatic League? Either way, it's one of those leagues where the guys are a little smaller, they're not as developed. So of course, coming to the Miami Heat, developing that strength, refining that touch, developing that physicality or that ability to be able to play through physicality, all that was important as well. But the offensive skill set was there when drafted. Of course, the defensive instinct, the strength, helping him play defense, just recognizing the NBA game and how he's being called has also helped. But, Spo's freedom and trusting him to get out there and be able to do that without mucking the game up with his fouling has also played a part. I mean, I completely agree with you, man. I love me some Freako Nico. He going to be amazing beside Bam. Like, but, Bam, 26, right? 25, 26. So, you know what I'm saying? For the next 5-6 years minimally, I mean, we looking at one of the most versatile, multiple, you know what I mean, front courts in the league if everything continue to click the way it has. Joel, anybody got anything on Nico? By the way, don't want to take that opportunity away from anybody. Anybody want to say anything else on Nico?
I would just want to say this real quick. I personally, and I don't want to mention him while I was talking about another young guy. This isn't someone I want to grade, but
okay. Well, we'll let you get to it because we don't want you to step on nobody's toes.
All right, so
let's be fair.
With Jovic, though, my hope is that, and hopefully with all the veterans we got in our locker room, we can potentially get him ready to go come playoff time. Because for so long we have been asking, like, who is going to be that four next to Bam? That was the huge question for the squad. And, Nico has answered that role gracefully this year. And it's crazy because if you saw the way how the beginning of the year went, there was so many questions going on, especially with, oh, my gosh, he's making these comments, it doesn't seem like he's going to last long. They're probably going to have to trade him or whatever. And that's not the case. And if any, he's starting now. He's our starting power forward. And I know it's something a lot of Heat fans have been wanting for. So the fact that not only he got the opportunity, but he's completely shining in it, it's great. Only thing I need from him to now do it is do it in the playoffs. And I need that from all our young guys too.
What's up with you, Dean?
Yo, can y'all hear me? Am I good?
Yes, sir.
My overall grade, I'm gonna go C- on the team grade. And for the reason why I gave him such a low grade is because for Spo, in my eyes, we have probably a top 3, in my opinion, a top 3 greatest coach all time, the best coach in basketball. We have 2 top, I'd say 25. Would you agree with me, Kay? 2 top 25 players. We have 2
I
top.
agree.
We have 2 top 25.
2 top 25 players. To 30 at absolute minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
okay,
I'd say Bam and Jimmy are top 25, but what I'm saying is you say 25 to 30, can't nobody argue that.
25 to 30, and to finish to where we finish in back-to-back seasons is not good enough for me, in my opinion. I think this team is better than what they put on the court at times. I think, in my opinion, this was Jimmy Butler's worst year in a Heat uniform. Would y'all how do y'all feel about that? Like, what's your take on that? I definitely want to hear from Joe what Joe think about that though. I think this is Jimmy Butler's worst year in a Heat uniform.
For me, it's like, and I do see where you're coming from with it, because I feel like for so much this year, it's tough being a Jimmy fan because, like, everybody talking about Heat trolling and stuff. So I got to take cover and, like, not be on Twitter because the TL be looking mad ugly, if Jimmy have an off night, especially in some of these games recently. And that's just the thing. Like, Jimmy just doesn't take this stuff seriously. So for me, I personally see where you're coming from with it. Do I agree? Probably, because listen, man, I'm at the point now with Jimmy where I've learned to just not really care much what he does in the regular season compared to how I am with other guys, because it's like I know what he's capable of doing come playoff time. And it's like the difference between Jimmy in the regular season and Jimmy in the playoffs is like night and day at this point. You know, like I would be like a lot of Heat fans and be pulling my hair out, out of my head if I didn't know that Jimmy was capable of doing what he does in the postseason. So, but I know it, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like I'm kind of chill and like I'm waiting for that moment to come. And if things don't work out, then obviously I'm gonna be even more pissed. But regarding like Jimmy having his worst year, I definitely could see that because there, like I said, there has been times where he didn't exactly look at his best, but it's not something obviously I personally worry about too much because, like I said before, the only time where I feel like I really, I guess you could say like grade Jimmy or like evaluate his performance is for the 16 games that matter the most because at the end of the day, that's what we really need him for. And I don't know. I know some people been saying like he probably been trolling a bit more because, maybe he's just a little disengaged with the team or whatever. But at the end of the day, like Jimmy is just Jimmy, bro. Like that man's gonna go out there, take part in Fall Out Boy music videos, do whatever pleases him. But he's gonna be ready when the time is right. I really do wish we could have gotten maybe another star or whatever, because we knew this was inevitable for him, at least in the regular season. But yeah, overall, man, like I'm not too worried about it because at the end of the day, the playoffs is what mattered the most for me. But I mean, regarding him having his worst season, right, regular season with the Heat, I mean, out of the 5 years so far, it's definitely up there for debate. Um, yeah, I mean, I won't argue it too much simply because, like I said before, I just don't care too much about what he does in the regular season compared to most other players on this team.
Yeah,
Dean, let me ask you something, Dean.
Go
Was Jimmy gonna be your guy that you gave a grade for?
No.
Okay. Quickly. All right, so go ahead, Alex. Answer the question. Is this your worst season for Jimmy?
Honestly, yes. But with that being said, like it's like I understand where Dean's coming from. I understand where Joel's coming from. Joel kind of sort of hinted on it near the end of what he was saying in regards to the fact that at this point, the like Jimmy, he's shown us what he can be when it matters the most. And with him showing us the level that he could get to last year in the playoffs when it mattered the most, I feel like that the organization did him a disservice not going to find somebody so that he could go through the season and basically sleepwalk as much as he wanted. And we had another guy who would have been able to go ahead and be like, you know what, Jimmy, I got it. I'll be the number one option for however many games we need me to be the number one option for. Obviously, we tried to get Damian Lillard. He would have taken that burden. Then, I mean, once that fell through, it was kind of sort of like Pat Riley came out and said, well, maybe Bam or Tyler can do it. They can't do it. That's not what they built for. So Jimmy gave us what he can give us as a 34-year-old, however many years he done played in the league, with however many years of those being under Tom Thibodeau, getting ran into the ground, like like Joel said, like Jimmy plays when it matters most, and the regular season doesn't matter as much to him. So with that being said, we should have supplemented the roster to be able to handle that, and we didn't.
But see, you guys don't see where that's a problem, to where we say, yeah, like we all can agree that Jimmy performs when it matters the most in the playoffs. Like, and he does it big every year since he's been in the Heat uniform. Besides that 1 year, at the what was that, the bubble year? But anyway, like I find that a problem, to where at times we say night in, night out, it shouldn't all have to be on Jimmy. when you're the top dog, when you're the leader of the franchise, that all falls on your shoulders, night in and night out. And we've seen it happen with all the greats. Before Jimmy, it's going to happen after Jimmy. Like, you're the lead dog, so I mean, you should want that pressure on your shoulders. You shouldn't look for guys like Tyler, where we can all agree is we know Tyler's not that guy. He does stuff in moments where it's like, oh yeah, good job, Tyler, or whatever. But Tyler's not that guy. Yes, against Philly his rookie year, he came up clutch. He come up clutch a few times, but he's not the guy to where I'm looking at Tyler like, Tyler, take the ball and get us where we need to be. No, I'm looking at number 22 for that, because he showed us he's that guy, and we're paying him top dollar to be that guy. He's the leader of the franchise. So I'm not looking for Jimmy to go into Sacramento or Utah on a Saturday afternoon putting up 35 points. I don't care for that. But on nights where we play in Denver or Milwaukee, Boston, whatever, and he only come up with 15 points and 5 rebounds and what? No, I need you to lead us, Jimmy. And that's why I feel like this was one of his worst years, because it was a lot of times on big stages he came up short. In the regular season, I'm just talking in the regular season, prime time on TNT, ESPN, where it's all eyes on Miami and whoever that other team is. I just feel a lot of times he came up short. That's why I think this is one of his worst years in Miami.
All right, Joel, you got a bit on this, and then I'm gonna give a word, and then we're gonna actually have Deem answer the question so we can progress throughout the show, because we already 20 minutes in, guys. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make this real quick so it won't take too much time. So my thing with Jimmy is simply that, and I get where you're coming from, Deem, because I remember when he first came to Miami back in 2019, and I was excited because, it's like, I mean, we had Dwayne Wade and everything for the years before that, but obviously he was reaching like, the twilight of his career, so it was like with Jimmy, you were having a prime all-star coming in, and I was excited because it felt like we were going to see, what we've seen from playoff Jimmy in the regular season. Obviously, that hasn't been the case. But, like, these past few years, he's shown that he's been capable of doing what he does in the postseason, but just not in the regular season. And it goes back to the point that Alex made, where it's like, you kind of have to look at that and just simply, get the reinforcements needed to make sure that in that regular season, the guys are stepping up where Jimmy cannot, So that's just kind of been the thing that a little frustrates me with, the improvements of the team. I don't want to talk about too much because I do have faith in our squad and everything. And one thing I will say is this. Even though Jimmy doesn't play like, playoff Jimmy in the regular season, it makes me think though, well, even if he did play like that, what would the production from some of these other guys be come playoff time? Would we see a Caleb Martin playing the way how he did, if Jimmy was playing like playoff Jimmy in the regular season? Would we see the Gabe Vincents and the Max Struces out here playing at that level if Jimmy was playoff Jimmy in the regular season? So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I get you, but like, it's something that also kind of gives too if you think about it. And so that's why I like try not to think about it too much at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, if as long as he's there for the 16 games that matter the most, that's all that matters to me. And the way how I think about it is like, back when I was like younger, right? It's like a story, I guess, real quick. I come from a big family, right? So we had to like scramble to get to church every Sunday. And I'm taking my sweet old time just to get ready. The thing is like, I'm taking my time because I know when it's time to actually get dressed and everything, I'm gonna be ready, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna be good to go. That right there is basically what Jimmy is. He's going to take his time, do whatever he needs to do in the first few minutes. But when it's time to speed things up and be ready and, get at the door and be ready to leave so that y'all can make it to church on time, that's him. Like, he gonna be at the door all dressed up And all the other people that was trying to get in tune, trying to get all changed well before him, they're just gonna be getting ready while he's gonna be waiting for you outside. So that's why I don't stress it too much, because at the end of the day, like, all that matters to me is what he does in the playoffs. And as long as it gets these other guys going, like, it's good for me, because you see what Jovic has been able to do. We got to see Jaime shine these last 2 games, and hopefully we see more, because obviously it's been kind of an up and down for him these past couple of months. And I just want to see these other guys going, because who's to say that Caleb can't be the only guy that goes out there and does his thing? Like, maybe we have another guy that comes out there and shows up, and maybe they end up being this guy that we say, oh, you know what? Maybe he should have been the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And it's gotten to a point where now people are even saying, like, oh, to slander Jimmy, by the way. Oh, this dude is out here getting carried by role players and stuff. Is that not insane for y'all to think about? Like, they're literally making fun of him because he's getting carried by undrafted players like Caleb and all them. And that's such an insane thing to think about. Because did we honestly think people would actually say that type of stuff about the Heat or about Jimmy as a way to slander him before the season started? Like, a lot of people would laugh at that, to say that, oh, he's getting carried by Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and all them. So if it means getting these other guys well adjusted and well tuned and ready to go come the postseason, by all means, because I want to see these guys shine too, because it's a 15-man effort at the end of the day. But yeah, I know I took like 3 minutes. My bad, y'all.
Hey, brother, you were going. My take would just simply be this: I judge Jimmy by the playoffs, and I understand what Deem is saying from the perspective of you maybe wanted to see him. You know what? I don't understand what you're saying, actually. Now that I think about it.
Oh man, I finally thought we was gonna agree on something, man.
Nah, I don't understand what you're saying, actually. The numbers aren't his worst. His 3-point percentage is up. His teammates are actually better. If anything, I think that Jimmy
You think wait. You think this team is better than the bubble team?
I think that I didn't say the team was better, because then you're going to debate me on record. Well, then you can debate on records.
No, I'm not going on record. I'm going.
Well, no. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general. See, I like to answer questions that other people when I'm making my stances or creating. You know what I'm saying, my takes are like, perspectives. I think about how, like, the general public, and let's call the general public trolls on Twitter. Like, I think about how, like, trolls on Twitter would try to poke holes in my argument, and I'm already processing it in that manner. So what I'm saying is, like, I'm not going to put it in a position. I didn't say team, because that puts you in a position where you can compare records or, like, compare how they performed against a certain particular team, like the number one person or the top, that thing that you all like to pull out. Well, how they played against the top teams in the league this year, and you know what I mean, whatever. But for me, when I look at this team and the individual players, the pieces, if I went piece by piece, the pieces are better. But even once you get to those redundant pieces, those pieces that cross over from that team and this team, the version of that player that we have now is a better version. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, K, record-wise, yeah, I agree. But record-wise, the record is probably identical. That's like the crazy thing. From the bubble year to this team, the record-wise is probably identical. I'm pretty sure of it.
And I'll say this, we all look. This is how I will probably categorize it, looking at everybody's take. And you know what I'm saying, putting it in a crystal so we can, get some sort of, I guess, stake of progression here, because we got a lot more to cover, guys. I promise you. Damn, we 30 minutes deep. Bloop mono me, swear ban me again. But we all want more from this team. But I think we all mature enough and logical enough in our basketball knowledge of what we've seen to say this is one of the more talented teams in the Jimmy Butler era, simply because of what we just talked about from a whole. And if you look at the pieces, I don't know if there's been a Jimmy Butler team where you looked at all of the pieces and you like, yo, this guy, I can see where this guy could help me in any given game or right now. Like even, I mean, and I'll give you examples that are crazy. For a lot of the season, I say 75% of the season, you know, people were trashing the hell out of Thomas Bryant. Like, why is he even on the team? Whatever. But, you know, when Kevin Love went down in last night, you know what I mean? Well, not last night, I'm sorry, yesterday in the Miami Heat's final regular season of the game, when Kevin Love went down, Lord, I hope that he get back quick. But, you know, Thomas Bryant came in and got some things done, was effective. And even though that game was a game that was going the other way the whole time, you still like to see him be able to come in and handle business, give Bam a break. And he's shown capable of that. But that's another thing about Spo and lineups and him doing what he's supposed to do with Spo also trusting him that. Back to that whole thing with Jokic. So, I mean, again, to Jimmy, it's the playoffs with me, man. I don't see where the numbers have fallen off. And I don't think that it's a bad take that you have that this is his worst season, because I don't think he's had a bad season. I think that there's a clear explanation for the bubble in my mind. I can't be convinced other than that. And if I'm judging it off the playoffs, every other playoffs, Jimmy has nearly taken you to the mountaintop. And I know that almost doesn't count. And I know that, you know, close is only good in horseshoes and grenades. I understand all that. But what I'm saying is when you get to that level, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals, any of the teams that got there could win. And that's why they got there. And, you know, as messed up as it make me feel, or as messed up as it has to say, we just didn't have enough to get it done when we got to those stages. Now, it does make you happy that, for argument's sake, not in the grand scheme of things, because again, we want to win, but it does, you know, give you a little bit of something to be like, well, I mean, swear band again, we were the team in the NBA Finals representing the Eastern Conference in more of those years than we weren't during the Jimmy Butler tenure. That's all there. So to keep things going again, Dean, who were you giving your grade on? Who are you giving your grade on? Matter of fact, I think I know, but what would you give Spoelstra as far as a grade? And then what player would you give your grade? And what's that grade?
Spo, I'll give Spo an A-. I guess Spo an A-. And my player, I was gonna go Kevin Love, but I'm gonna go Duncan Robinson. I'm giving my man Duncan an A, man. Like I don't care. Like, matter of fact, I'm giving him an A+. I don't care. Duncan has been awesome this year. Like I can't wait to see him in the playoffs this year. I'd say probably been the worst contract on the team to probably, you know, one of the best contracts on the team. Or I wouldn't even say, like, I'd say least valuable player on the team to now the most valuable player. Well, I'd say the second most valuable player on the team. So shout out to Duncan, man. I'm just like so happy he's got his confidence back. He found his shot again. Yeah, I know he had a couple bad games, but so what? Everybody had bad games. But yeah, I'm giving an A+ to Duncan, man. Shout out to my guy Duncan. Shout out my guy Anthony DiNardo, man. I told you this was going to happen. My man Duncan's back.
Absolutely, man. And everybody gonna get a take on this, but I got some instant thoughts on this. I like to get my grades. As I said, I already did mine today, based on the post that inspired this kind of topic. But I gave Duncan an A. I would have gave Duncan an A+ too. But you know me, I try to be logical, try to be fair, think about how the critics gonna post. But you know what I mean?
No.
He's still missing shots, whatever. A+. I do think so too, because when you look at his progression and the things he's able to do now, he isn't a complete liability defensively. And he's still one of the absolute best shooters in the game. And I don't mean like in a handful of shooters. I mean like there's 3 dudes in the league when you think about best shooters. It goes Steph Curry, it goes Duncan, and one more other dude that I'm just, you know, being absent-minded about right now. Who would be the third best shooter in the league, or the third guy you would put in that conversation? Would you put Dame? Would Dame be that third guy?
I was about to say, I probably have Duncan probably like the 5th best shooter in the league.
Okay, who's the top 4 to you?
I can't go off the top of my head right now.
Okay,
but I'd say Duncan's top 5.
In my mind, okay, and that's fair. Cool. Argument, you know how I am. For argument's purposes, you can't argue top 5. In my mind, it definitely goes Steph Curry and Duncan Robinson for a shot to save my life. Dame in there somewhere, but Dame, because he makes some of them crazy shots at a high efficiency, his shot selection would kill me before he even made or missed a shot. But you know what I'm saying? Okay. Thoughts on his grade. Oh, by the way, completely agree with Spoelstra. again, I was kind of, let me go ahead and get this out of the way. I was being fair on Twitter because, it's Twitter. You don't want to have to, what I'm saying, cuss nobody out. I gave Spo a B minus, but he top 15. He never going to be none less than a B. Only reason I gave him a B minus this year because I think there was some things he could have tweaked a little bit better. And I don't like the way he played with Tyler to begin the season. That was crazy. And what I mean by that was he should have like, we shouldn't be still having this conversation. Like, and this is something we're going to talk about as we progress. But Terry Rozier is probably going to have to be the starter because Terry or Duncan isn't capable of being in best sales off the bench. Tyler's capable of doing what he's doing everywhere. So I just think Spo should have made decisions like that a little sooner. I think he should have got in Jimmy and Bam a little sooner. Like, yo, what you tripping on? Shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? Because it's clear that he's had conversations, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, that's why I gave him a B minus, but he top 15. So he always a great coach. He's always going to be somewhere between A plus and B. He can never go no less than that because he's Spo. But that's what I got on that. Joel, what you got on those grades that Deem gave out?
Really, I really don't have much against it. I mean, Duncan had an incredible season. I could just ramble about that for this whole pod, really. I'm just happy to see him evolve. Like, we've talked about this.
I'm sure we will on the next episode of Heat vs. the World, but go ahead.
Yeah, like, he's evolved as a player because we mentioned this on the pod many weeks ago, okay? Like, so many what they call 3-point specialists, where are they now? Where are the Joe Harrises and the Davis Bertans of the world that made all that money to hit these shots, and now they're not really doing much for these teams? Duncan is the only guy that we consider as one of these 3-point specialists that's still relevant, that's still out there and playing big minutes for their team. The dude's still on the team that gave him the contract in the first place, which that alone is impressive to think about. Like, the team still wants to keep him because they know he has value. They're not trying to get rid of him for like a first round pick or something. And, obviously people had their, comments and concerns about him, but like, he was able to get it together. And like I said before, we saw a complete evolution with him. And when it comes to Spo, I'm gonna just say it like this. I got him at like a B plus. The reason why is because I didn't want to put him in the A category just yet, but I didn't want to put him too low outside of it. So I felt like B plus would be good enough since it's like right next to A. And it's kind of like what we said before with and I know I wasn't exactly good with the comp at the time, but like the whole little Mr. Miyagi thing. And it's like, you know what? Things ain't working out right now, but you know what? Things gonna work out come playoff time. I got faith in this squad and that everything that Spo does has purpose. It's just one of those things where you kind of got to be patient with it and let it play out, because I see a lot of reasons why people go after Spo on Twitter. And I mean, some points you guys mentioned, which are valid arguments, like, the whole Tyler debacle, this and that. But then there's also, oh my gosh, bro, we're down 5. There's 7 minutes left. Why isn't Jimmy in the fourth quarter in this game against the Hornets? And I think people got to understand, like, that it's the regular season. And I get it. We need to win these games and stuff. But come playoff time, it's a different question. Like, you think we're going to have Jimmy sitting at a single second in a fourth quarter game come playoff time? Like, that's not going to be the situation, It's just Spo simply looking after his guys because he don't want them to be, worn out come playoff time. And I get it. You might have your concerns about, Jimmy should be able to handle that because these other stars in the league can do that. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other day. Overall, for me, I think he's a B plus, but anything is fair for Spo, because at the end of the day, he's that great of a coach. And, it's one of those things where, like I said before, you got to be patient with him because it's like, what he's capable of doing. Like, he's just that bright of a coach. And you still see it to this day in these podcasts, whether if it was hearing what LeBron had to say about how he was able to change his game up after losing in the 2011 finals, going to Oregon, meeting with Coach Chip Kelly for their football team, and basically figuring stuff out there. Like, you can't really deny Spo's greatness. So, I think B plus for this year is fair. And I'm gonna say this because I want to make this quick. The player that I'm gonna give a grade.
Hold tight. Alex, we got your grade on Coach. We know you gave Coach a pretty high grade. What'd you make of Deem's grade on Duncan?
He gave Duncan an A, right?
A plus.
A+. I mean, with where we were with Duncan, I guess last year, where most times any type of trade package, Duncan was just being thrown in to make money match. And then him coming back, like Joel said, him coming back, being able to evolve as a 3-point shooter, being able to catch the ball and go off the bounce.
Should be one of the candidates for the MIP. Should be one of the high candidates. So we all agree?
I agree, because we done seen Duncan make more layups and floaters this year than ever in his career.
Sometimes contested.
Exactly. Like he getting them coming off screens, coming off handoffs, he getting pressured instead of just jumping up in the air and just trying to throw the ball back to Bam. He's literally catching, taking off, putting guys in jail, making moves, making reads. Like he evolved a whole lot as a shooter. Yeah, he slumped a little bit at certain times, as all shooters do. Now he's injured. Hopefully he gets back, because we're gonna need the gravity that he brings. But like, yeah, man, like I'm cool with that grade.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Joel, you're about to give us your player grade, and I'm gonna do something a little unique for mine to tie a bow around this topic, because geez Louise, we've spent 40 minutes on it. As well as the fact to move us along really quick here. Who's your player grade, Joel?
I'm gonna say Terry Rozier, and the reason why is because he's only been here since January.
What's the grade?
My grade for him is probably going to be an A.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason why I say is because I feel like so many people was critical of Terry when he first came to Miami. Why are we making this move? Some people were just flat out criticizing it on Twitter, and it was annoying because it's like we're only 3 games into this. Like, y'all really thought he was gonna come in here and be like the guy he was in Charlotte. Like, first of all, Charlotte is a completely different situation than what it is in Miami. Like, we actually care about winning, and none of our players are doing drugs. And second of all, so at least he's going from having teammates that are actually trying to stay in shape instead of drinking lean in the locker room after losing by like 30 points to God knows who. But all of that aside, give him some time to actually be with the winning team. Listen, shout outs to the Hornets, bro. I really hope they all get the help they need, bro, man. Like, I know it's not easy being in that locker room. But anyways,
Jesus, what did the Hornets organization do to you, brother?
I'm just saying, bro. Like, I just don't think I've seen more than like 3 sane people in that locker room. I don't know. Like, that's why I feel bad for Brandon Miller. But hopefully they get their acts together. But overall, bro, like, Terry, and I know people got to understand, he needed time to adjust with this Miami Heat team, especially when you consider the fact that, this is going to be the first time he's with a playoff team since 2019 when he was in Boston, bro. Like, that's how long it's been since he's last been with the team that's cared about winning. So for him to now be back in this situation, it's great for him. And we've seen him thrive since then. I've still seen people say, oh, we could have maybe gotten this guy. Oh, was he really worth the first round pick when some other guys was going for maybe lesser than that? But at the end of the day, to have a guy like him to go out there and potentially be, that 3-level scorer, I understand that he might not be, as gifted as a scorer that, we probably thought a guy like Dame would be, or any of those other guys that we would try to pursue in the past. But at the end of the day, I've seen so many encouraging things from him, whether if it's that game against New York or that game against the Cavs where, if Jimmy's shots are not falling, if Bam doesn't have it in him to go in that, takeover mode, you have a guy like Terry Rozier where you can just pass the ball to and let him do his thing. And that's what's going to be important come playoff time, because as long as he's able to do that, because it's not like we're going to rely on him that much, because we talk about, playoff Jimmy and all that. So we know when it's time for those moments where we need someone to take those huge shots, it's always going to be, those long shot, good Jimmy Butler stuff. So we know how it is from there. But to have a guy like Terry that's going to bowl out and do his thing, that's what matters the most to me. And I don't know, man. To all y'all that was going after him, saying that this wasn't the right move for the Heat, I mean, some of y'all had y'all politics behind it because some of y'all wanted to worship the guy that we traded for Terry Rozier. I ain't gonna get into all that other nonsense, but overall, man, well, I can't say welcome because it's already been like what 3 months since he came to Miami. But shout outs to you, Terry. Thank you for coming to Miami. Thank you for wanting to be part of this, and let's go get you that championship.
I guess Dean, what you got on that Terry Rozier? Great.
Man, I got mixed emotions about Terry. I, like I said, I missed the whole month of basketball. So again, I got mixed emotions. I probably wouldn't grade him that high as Joe did, but Terry, I'm on Terry to where as though I'm more so waiting to see what he does in the playoffs. That's my thing on Terry. I'm a sit and wait guy on Terry, and I've been saying that before he got traded. Well, when he got traded here, I want to see what he does in the playoffs. That's my thing on Terry.
Right. And that's fair because at the end of the day, that's kind of my thing with all these players. Because we've seen what this team can do. We've been blessed to watch this team be the number one seed in the regular season before, but we don't think about too much because at the end of the day, we couldn't even make it to the finals that year. Like it's really all about what this team is going to be able to do. For those 16 games that matter the most, and just doing whatever it takes to just be that team that can get that first 16.
Yeah. All right, now we're gonna move on. Without K. Hopefully he gets back here pretty soon. Now, a important piece on the team that I'm surprised no one did grade is Bam. I feel as though Bam, he had a lot of ups and downs this year, and I was a big critic of Bam this year. What do y'all think Bam progress was this year, or how do y'all feel about Bam all around season this year? Alex, you go first.
So I'm just pulled it up, just looking at it. Bam average 19, 10, 4 assists. I think we've gotten past the point where we're gonna see like huge jumps from Bam's game. Like it's gonna be just gradual improvements in efficiency, gradual improvements in like what he's doing on the court. Like the last month or so of the season, he started to shoot more threes, and he literally said, "Yo, I just woke up and was like, you know what? I'm shooting threes from now on." So I think Bam, he, in my opinion, on a championship team, he's the third option. Right now, we got him slotted a roll too high. So if I had to grade it, I give him a B. But like I said, man, everything for Bam now is just going to be gradual in regards to improving efficiency and just becoming more comfortable.
Yeah, I agree with you when you say he's more of a third option than he is a second option. I'm happy somebody else is on the panel that says that. Um, yeah, I 100% agree with everything you said about Bam. I feel as though Bam did get slightly better. I don't think I don't think we're going to see any more jumps in his game. Like I think this is where he's going to be at. Yes, you're going to see his points may go up. I don't think we're going to see too much more jumps in his game. I think you're going to see his points go up here and there, and that's because the more shots he take more shots. But yeah, I mean, I think this is who Bam is. Like this is who's going to be. He's the third best player on the championship team. We got him as the second best player, and it's times where Bam he does more than what it shows in the box score. So yeah, I was a big critic of Bam. Like, oh, we need him to do this. But if we really sit down and watch and break down his game, he does way more than what shows up in the box score. And I'm a big critic of Bam. That's because I really think he's a great player and he's better than what was advertised of him. And I just don't think he believe in his game as much as he should. And I think Bam, everyone say, oh, Spo's holding Bam back. I think Bam is holding Bam back. And I think once Bam realized, that he is a great player. I'm not going to say great because I don't want to I hate when people throw the word great around like that. I think he's a really good player. He's really skilled. Then I think, he can finally take off. But other than that, I'm going to give Bam a grade. I think Bam was a B to B minus this year. Joe, what's your thoughts on Bam?
I'm gonna just put him at an A minus simply because at the end of the day he did have an all-star caliber season. So I don't want to like put him anything below an A. But I do get where you're coming from, Dean. Like, people sometimes question him, and he had like some moments this year. I know there was the whole slump and people was coming after him. But at the end of the day, like his importance to this team is just so vital because at the end of the day, like you need someone like him that can hold it down on defense. And that's why it's unfortunate that, and I don't want to dwell on this too much because I still like our team and hopefully we're able to make a lot of noise. But every now and then you can't help but think about what things would be like if you had an elite scorer on this team, whether if it's a Dame or whoever, because at the end of the day, like regardless of what our defense looks like, as long as you have Bam Adebayo, like they're holding stuff down, like things aren't gonna look too shabby on the defensive end as long as you got a guy like him to serve as that anchor. And we ask him to do so much, which is why I never am going to like try to be on him too much, pause, but like overall, bro, I just need from this Heat team, someone to step up and just be that second option on the scoring end because and hopefully it is a guy like Terry and hopefully you can get moments from Tyler here and there, but when it comes to Bam, like we know what he's capable of doing and he has his moments where he can definitely be that guy that can get the offense going and hit those shots down the road because we've seen it this season. But, for him, I just want us to try to take the burden off of him in a way where because he's doing so much on defense, while I know he's capable of doing a lot on offense too, I just want to simply, if we can just try to lower the burden on him by at least letting it be known that we can do certain things on offense where it's not only just Jimmy turning into a demigod come playoff time, but you got the other guys that can step up to and do their thing because that's what was vital about last year. I mean, Bam had its moments, especially that Knicks series, and was also hooping against Denver too, but what was also great for him was the fact that you had a guy like a Caleb Martin that was stepping up, especially in that Boston series, that, allowed to take some of the burden off of Bam when it comes to scoring, because that's another guy that we were all of a sudden counting on to go out there and give us, a little 20-something points per game. So, whatever we can do to just take that burden off of Bam, that's important to me because we know what he's going to do on defense night in and night out. But yeah, that's what I got to say about that.
All right, so wrapping up, man. We got coming up on an hour. We got two more topics to go. And this one I'm kind of tweaking a little bit and I'm really curious to hear what y'all got to say. With the play-in coming up and we gearing up for the playoffs, we know the rotations is going to get shorter. And looking at guys like Jamie and Nico, how do y'all feel they would fit in this rotation, or do you think they would either be in a rotation?
I think they would. I mean, I don't think there's no reason why they wouldn't at this point. They've played vital roles for this team this year. You look at the season Jaime had, and it got to a point where we were especially putting him in that starting lineup, if Jimmy was out. So I think the Heat are going to trust in him and hope that he can give them some good minutes every now and then. And he probably could. You know, I know he's been going through some slumps here and there, but I got my faith in him. And when it comes to Jovic, like Jovic especially, I mean, he's our starting power forward. You did mention Jovic, right? That was the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yo,
Okay.
yeah.
So with Jovic, I mean, that's our starting power forward. And, you know, all that matters to me is that he's going to be ready to go. And that's why I'm happy that he's close with Jimmy, because at the end of the day, they always say iron sharpens iron.
Mm.
So to have a guy like him by his side to get him ready for a moment like this, and you're talking about the guy that always goes off when we need him to come playoff time, you know, it gives me faith in the fact that he will be ready when his number is called.
Alex.
So I'm gonna be quick with mine. Somewhat going off of what Joel said. Yeah, Nico is our starter at the 4 spot. So I see him still being able to start at the 4 unless something drastic happens, like say we get down 2-0 or 3-0 in the series, God forbid, and Spo feels like he needs to shake it up and move. Move somebody else into that starting lineup. And in regards to Jaime, I think he would be the one to be the odd man out because of
Mm.
the fact that Jimmy's usage is going to go up in this in the play-in, hopefully in the playoffs, and that other guys like Caleb who have been there and proven themselves before are probably going to get a little bit more time to flesh out and fill out the game, and then it'll be just depending on what's going on, like spot minutes in regards to Jaime getting on the court.
So,
So I disagree with both of you guys. I I think their minutes will be reduced a whole lot, and I think Nico's going to be the odd man out. Honestly, my opinion is I would love to see Kevin Love get a lot of those playoff minutes if he's 100% healthy, and depends on the matchup. But I see we know that Kevin Love had the playoff experience. He has the championship pedigree, and I think Kevin Love was he was, I'm not going to say great, but he was tremendous. Like he played an important role a lot for this team early on before the injury or whatever happened. Excuse me. And I think with his championship pedigree and his playoff experience, and on this team, I think it's going to come up big in the playoffs this year. So I really want to see Kevin Love in the playoffs, and I think Caleb's going to get a lot of minutes. Duncan and all those guys, I think, and obviously what Alex said, Jimmy usage is going to go up. Like all those guys' usage is going to go up. So I think they won't play a ton in the playoffs, and I think Nico he's going to be the odd man out. I don't think he's going to get a lot of. He's going to get a lot of the end of the game minutes when the game is already out of hand, out of reach. I don't see him getting that many minutes.
I
Anyone
mean,
have anything to say about that?
I'll say this. So I know Alex is just trying to get his AirPods together right now. For Jovic, I will say I'm low key a little fickle about that, simply because like at the end of the day, you just don't want to like ruin whatever confidence you got building in him right now. It kind of goes to what I heard Alex say earlier, where I just don't see a move like potentially just taking Jovic out of that starting lineup or whatever, a move like that taking place unless, something horribly wrong goes down, like
But remember,
if,
Joe Spo did it before in the playoffs. What was that? 2 years ago? What with Caleb?
oh yeah, I agree with that. I'm just saying like specifically like if something goes wrong, you know what I'm saying? Because like I could definitely see it. Like, I'm definitely open to the fact that we can see certain stuff here and there because we saw some types of moves happen last year when you look at the rotation. Like we were experimenting, like, okay, maybe we'll put Duncan in the starting lineup. Maybe we'll put this guy in the starting lineup. It got to a point where, I think we had, was it Struce was our starting four? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that opening series against the Bucks, right? So it was,
Mm-hmm.
and then we eventually shifted to K Love. And I think it's just a matter of what Spo thinks is going to be best for the squad. And who knows? Like this series against if God is willing, assuming that we win this game against Philly, we go against New York, we might see some tinkering with that lineup. And if Jovic is ready, obviously he'll be able to keep that spot. But if not, they'll make that move. Who will they replace him with? We'll see what Spo feels would be right for that situation. But I'm going to have faith in Jovic. Hopefully he'll be ready. But at the same time, I'm also prepared for the slight possibility, and let me knock on wood just so I don't sound too pessimistic. But maybe he won't be. Like this is a guy that is now really starting to really witness stuff. I know this is his second year in the league, but obviously he only saw so much within last season, and we didn't even think he was going to be a starter, let alone get regular minutes in the rotation, earlier in the season. So if God bless him if he can be ready for it, and I'm confident that he will. And it's just one of those things where we just got to go from there and see what happens.
Alex, you got anything to say about that before we move on to the last topic?
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, you good.
Say nah, man. It's like I somewhat kind of hear where you coming from, but I do think in regards to what Joel said, like it would be somewhat messed up for Spo to go from building up this guy the last month and a half of the season to as being a starter and being a great fit next to Bam to then you just getting garbage minutes. Like that'd be rough, and I don't think that would be the best for Nico's development overall. So that's all I got on it. We can move on.
Yeah, and like I said before, man, it's like it really depends on the situation. Like if we're up against the Knicks and like Jovic is looking like a complete mess out there, then I trust Spo to do what's best. But it's just one of those things where I feel like we're just gonna play it by ear, see what goes down. And Spo being the little mad scientist that he is, like he's gonna go into the game footage, following whatever happens in that game one, see what's best for the team, and we'll see it when it's time for that game too. Whatever rotation moves are made, who's going to be that new starting four, and we just go from there with it.
Listen, I'm with you guys. Hopefully, he does play. I just don't think he's going to play. Like if he does play, I don't think he's going to play a ton. I think he'll play, the first half. He'll get I say he got 18 to 20 minutes the whole game. He won't play much in the second half. He definitely won't play down the stretch in the fourth quarter when the game is close.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, moving on to the last topic of the day. We're going to go in, with the playoffs, period. Just playoffs, period. If and when I think we will make it to the we played Sixers first, Joel.
Yes.
That's what we got in the play-in. What's that, tomorrow?
Today's what, Monday or
playing for us is Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday? All right, so Wednesday with the play-in going up. Assuming the Heat wins, we'll play who? Milwaukee?
No, we would play New York.
New York? Wow. All right, so who is your ideal matchup for Miami in the first round? Would y'all want to see Boston or New York in the first round, and why?
New York easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go mess with them green people who won 60-something games. I know they obviously for the last month they basically been cruising. Most of their guys been like rotating who sits every game, and they done lost a few games that they probably wouldn't have lost if they would have just played their guys. But yeah, I'd definitely rather see New York. Jimmy gets up to play against Tibbs. Obviously Brunson's been on the tear. DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, all three of those guys have been playing really well. Obviously they were college teammates, so they got that going for them. But yeah, I'd definitely rather see the Knicks, with the fact that on the last day of the season, Tibbs had freaking DiVincenzo play 50-something minutes. Like how Tibbs' rotation is, he might just run them into the ground through playing them too long during the game, and then somebody might get nicked up through that. So no pun intended. But yeah, so Yeah, yo, I'd definitely rather see the Knicks than those green people.
I don't know where Joe just went, but I'm gonna go. Oh, Joe's back.
Yep. So I just want to say I agree with Alex right there. So first off, I just want to say a series against Boston should only be done in the Eastern Conference Finals at this point. I feel like it's what God wants because we thought we were getting them in the first round last year, and clearly God had other plans. And it's funny because I remember it was that Heat Nation calm account or whatever it's called who literally tweeted like "Beware Boston" or something like that leading up to before we played that first playing game against Atlanta. And as y'all know, we ended up losing that game, and everybody was trolling that page. Oh, what happened? Y'all said beware Boston, and y'all not even gonna play against them now. So everyone was making fun of it, and lo and behold, many weeks later, that post ended up holding true. Like, because we went through Milwaukee, we went through New York, and it put us in the situation where now we're head to head with the Celtics. I just feel like this is our destined situation. It's kind of like, in the WWE where they say like certain matches are only bound to happen at WrestleMania or whatever, Same thing here, man. It's like if you're going to do the Miami Heat versus the Boston Celtics at this point, you can't have it on like, if you're a wrestling fan, you'll get the reference. Like you can't have it on like a random episode of Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. You gotta make that the main event of WrestleMania and no other place. So that out of the way. Looking for the Miami Heat with this New York Knicks. I mean, Alex brought it up right there. Thibs is a terrorist, all right? I don't know who needs to hear this, but the man is a terrorist, okay? Y'all want to go after Jaime talking this and that. Y'all was up 17, bro, about 4 minutes left in the game. Heat did not have any fight in them whatsoever that whole matchup. And I know that because I stopped watching, like, somewhere in the third quarter because that's how tired I was with that game. Overall, man, like if you're the Miami Heat, just go out there and handle business. And we have the second, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the second best road record in the Eastern Conference. And we're the A seed right now, which is hilarious to think about. So we're just more battle tested on the road, which is why, have us play in Madison Square Garden or wherever, but we're always gonna shine, and that's what's gonna matter the most for me. So overall, man, like I said, save the Celtics for the Eastern Conference Finals, aka the main event of WrestleMania, and let's play what was it, New York, and then after that, I mean, assuming you can handle business against them if God is willing, you then go into that series against the winner of Milwaukee or Indiana. You don't know what could happen there because I know Giannis is out for game one of that series. And I don't want to look too ahead, but overall, man, just give me New York and let's just keep the ball rolling from there. And beat Philadelphia. Handle business and beat Philly. All right. Go on their court, handle business, and I want to see another Jimmy video saying Tobias Harris over me because why not?
Yeah, man. First, before anything, we had to beat Philly first. And I don't know if Embiid is 100% healthy. I think they say he
gonna
might be
play
hurt
though.
again.
No,
He's
he
gonna
gonna
play?
play. Yeah, he gonna play.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. But anyway, we are going to move forward a little bit and hypothetical thinking. Let's say we do beat Philly and we get to New York or either or New York or Boston, whatever happens. But honestly, yeah, I agree with both of you. I'd rather play Boston. I'm sorry, I'd rather play the Knicks first before Boston. Honestly, I don't want to see those Boston. I don't want to see those guys early on. I'd rather see them, later down in the playoffs line, like, in the Eastern Conference Finals, hopefully.
Yeah. Because
But
not that, but I just want to say I want some of these teams to beat the hell out of Boston before they come head to head with us. I don't want
yeah,
them to be like rejuvenated or whatever for that first round series. Because let's say we do get that 7th seed, they would most likely have to play Philadelphia in the first round unless they like completely stink it up against whoever they play in that second playing game. And then after them, they have to go against the winner of that Cavs and Orlando series. So that could
I
potentially.
think that I think they'll sweep either one of those teams.
Oh
I
yeah,
think Boston will sweep either one of those teams.
yeah. But like that series against Philly, I think that right there could at least give them somewhat of a fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but going back to this Knicks matchup, uh, Spo's going to run. He's going to run circles around Tibbs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's going to coach circles around Tibbs. It just comes down to the players executing. I think. And, I think I just hope we. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous against this matchup because, like I said, I think the Knicks they match up pretty damn good with the Heat, and I've been saying that throughout the season. Watch out for this Knicks team, and I wish K was here. I wish K and Cad both was here because I was saying this months ago, and they trashed me for it. But this Knicks team is a special. This is a really good Knicks team. It's gonna be a dogfight. It's gonna be a dogfight. And I can't wait till Wednesday till we play Philly and hopefully we beat them so we can really lock in and talk about this series, especially on the main pod. But it's gonna be a dogfight in that series. I think, like I said, both teams match up good, but it
Right.
comes down to executing. Obviously we have the better coach. We're gonna coach circles around Tibbs, and it's what a rematch from last year playoffs, second round. Was it
Yup.
second round?
Hmm.
Listen, this is going to game 7. I think this is going to be a game 7 dogfight. It's going to be a classic Knicks and Heat matchup. A 90s classic Knicks. I got to pull out my Alonzo Mourning jersey for this game, man. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be one of them. I'm super excited for it. I'm super excited. But I do think, Miami does pull a win out on Wednesday, and they're going to beat the Knicks in 7.
And God's grace, man. I won't give a prediction about the Knicks series simply because I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Because I feel like
Yeah.
I did the same thing last year before we had that playing game against the Hawks. Because I remember predicting the Heat would beat Boston in the first round, and while we did end up beating them, obviously I got ahead of myself by even predicting we'd face them that early. So I'm not gonna comment too much on the Knicks series right now. So yeah, let's go into and let's beat Philly. Embiid is playing because, of course, they're not just going to sit him out. You need this game because they're not trying to play Boston in the first round, too. I don't think anyone wants to.
No one wants to see Boston in the first round.
Exactly. So they're going to be fighting very hard, and they're going to put a guy like Embiid in at any point. They don't care what the injury is, all right? Like, they're gonna play him regardless. So it's really just a matter of if he's actually 100%. But regardless of whether he is, whether he's not, go out there and handle business, and let's go book that flight to where is it? New York. Let's go to Madison Square Garden and let's go take care of business from there.
Yeah, man, and NBA, man, get rid of this play-in thing. I think I hate it. I think it's stupid. It makes no sense. You already play 82 games. We should already know what the seeding is. We shouldn't have to play an extra 4 games to find out who's the 7th to 10th seed. Is ridiculous. It's dumb. Get rid of it. But anyway, on that, anybody got anything else to say before we close the show? Joe got a lot of editing to do on this one.
Man, it's hectic. It's almost 75 minutes, but Miami Heat go win this game and we'll go from there.
Quick, just from me. I kind of sort of side with you, Deem. I think the original thought of the play-in was great, but they had like a game. They had like a game limit that you had to be within to actually play. So I think they should bring that back because if you brought that back, then the East will be set, but the West would actually still have to do the play-in. So that would make sense to me.
To me, it was cool after the bubble year. That's when they started it, right? Mm-hmm. It was cool then, but now it's like, come on, man. It makes no sense to me. Like, it really makes no sense to me.
Yeah, so, especially with both. I think the Bulls, and I ain't looking right now, but the Bulls and the Hawks. I think it's
the Bulls.
They're under 500. Like,
it's ridiculous, bro.
It didn't make sense for those teams.
And they literally packed it up by telling Levine he could miss the whole season and everything. And Atlanta's just a whole mess right now. Like, neither of those
Atlanta's going to blow that team up next year.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I can't wait to the offseason to talk about that.
No
It's
question.
going to be
about
interesting.
that. It's like both these are two teams that just want to be put out their misery, and yet they're in the play-in for some reason to fight for a playoff spot. Like, make it make sense right now.
Yeah, it's but anyway, man, you heard it here from us, man. Back with Biscayne Breakdown. I'm happy to be back. Can't wait to do more, especially playoff times gearing up. We getting ready to drop a lot of bangers, man. Joe, hit the music. We out of here.
Let's go.
Yeah. When I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket